Can I change my phone? No. Is there anywhere, are there any outlets here? Are there any outlets here to like charge a phone? Yeah, grad students. 'Cause I'm supposed to grad students are there. I think they're kind of moving about, but the majority of them are there. Okay. And
عيش لورا ايوه
We ask some of the students sitting in the back to come on up front, please. We'll get started shortly.
Yes, come on up front, don't be shy. It's just like being in class. Thank you to our orchestra. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Aix-en-Provence. Welcome to the Institute for American Universities and the American College of the Mediterranean. My name is Carl Gibran. I'm president
of IAU and ACM. This is my 13th year as president. And this is the 67th Cérémonie de Clôture and the 7th graduation ceremony together. I have the great honor and privilege of having our Board of Trustees with us today. They came to our annual board meeting and it coincided with the graduation, so we're thrilled to have them with us in town. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the staff, and all the students, I welcome you to our graduation ceremony today, May 3rd, 2020.
To honor the class of 2024. Today we will be honoring 21 students at the undergraduate and graduate level, and we will also be honoring several study abroad students from various institutions. Earlier today, I was presented with a copy of the Student Literary Magazine that is in its 4th edition, I believe. And it is edited by 4 of our students and 1 alumni fellow. I was truly edified by this publication as I read through the various pages of poetry, photography, digital art, literature, lots of beautiful contributions from our students. This is an initiative that was led by Editor-in-Chief Charles de Leon Franson, who's one of our alumni fellows, and 3 other students, Annika White, Aidan Barton, and Ashlyn Jordan. I wanted to congratulate them on a wonderful presentation. Truly indicative of the kind of work our students do in the arts, and just seeing it come to fruition and published in such a beautiful way, I think honors our institution, every publication that comes out. So thank you again for the Mille Fontaines publication. Our institution is a growing institution. It's tradition with vision. We often use that slogan, that statement to describe who we are. We are an institution that is old and young at the same time. We are an institution established in the late 50s in 1957. And in the 1950s, you can only imagine what the world was going through and why our founders chose France, and specifically Southern France, to set up this brilliant institution. An institution formed by diplomats, for people interested in doing something new in the world. We had just come off the heels of World War II, and the world was struggling with the beginnings of the Cold War, and diplomacy was necessary. And French was the language of diplomacy. And France was where students went to study abroad. And as far as I'm concerned, that's where they're still coming. Look at all of you. So we're very proud of this institution, started by former diplomats, State Department officials, foreign service professionals, people really dedicated to service and finding solutions in a complicated world. Today, more than ever, we are in a troubled society. We see divided societies everywhere. Our institution is part of that solution. If you look at the roster, the incredibly rich roster of graduates from our institution, they have gone on to incredible careers in telephone management, in diplomacy, in the arts, in academia, in law, in business, and the list goes on and on. As you graduate today and as you leave here, whether you are a degree-seeking student or a study abroad student just here for the year or the semester, you're part of an institution that celebrates international education in a very specific way, because we believe, all of us here in this room believe, international education is part of the great solution. I was at a conference recently in Washington, D.C., and one of the plenary speakers, one of the keynote speakers, said something very poignant, and it resonated with me. And he said that if you're not doing international education in U.S. higher education, you're not doing U.S. higher education. International education is a big part of the solution globally. And I'm thrilled to see so many students here today in Aix-en-Provence. IAU and ACM have our flagship campus here in southern France, but we also have branch campuses in Barcelona, Spain, in Madrid, Spain, many programs in Morocco, and a new program in Florence, Italy. We are dedicated to the study of the Mediterranean in all of its glory, whether that's political, whether it's cultural, whether it's economical, whether it's environmental. We do it all. We do it really well. And I'm very proud of the faculty and staff in all of our locations. You are part of a new tradition, a tradition of graduates who go on to do great things. Our students have been recorded as graduating from ACM and going on to great internships, great jobs, more graduate school. We're keeping a record of our students more and more, and we're amazed at the kinds of jobs that they're getting, the kinds of offers that they're receiving daily. So I look forward to the 21 students coming across our stage today. Some of them will be hooded in the pomp and circumstance of graduation ceremonies. These ceremonies are necessary, as all ritual is necessary. Ritual is an incredible part of what we do as human beings. Just like the procession that we took from our main campus all the way to the Centre de Congrès.
Well, amazing, I've already missed the beginning.
A ritual, it's a necessary ritual. It's a journey. It's part of the completion of your journey today. You are part of an institution that has lots of success stories, and we hope to hear about your success stories in the future. Let me talk to you for a moment about our keynote speaker today, our commencement speaker, a very special human being, a very dear colleague and friend to all of us, an alum of IAU from the class of 73, 74. He was here as an undergraduate from Bowdoin College. He spent a whole year here, and he went on to do wonderful things. He went on to graduate school at Yale University, where he received a master's degree. He went on and got a Juris Doctorate at Boston University, and he practiced law for 30 years. He's still practicing law, even though he was supposed to retire in 2021. They wouldn't let him retire. He's still the counsel at Boston College. Joseph Herlihy has been on our board of trustees since 2015. His contributions to the board, his contributions to our institution are endless. He served as chair of the governance committee of the board, and he is currently the chair of our board of trustees. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Joseph Herlihy.
Well, thank you, Carl, for that glorification of my career. And thank you too for arranging for some sun finally. That procession would have been memorable either way, but it would have been. Let me also offer my greetings and congratulations to our graduates today, to our students continuing this year studying abroad or semester studying abroad. My fellow trustees, to our really extraordinary faculty, and to our very welcome parents and friends here today. So I'll confess to you straight off that when Carl asked me to give some remarks on this occasion, I first of all said yes. I've always wanted to stand under the hot lights with a funny hat, and I also went straight to the internet to search for commencement address ideas, and I found that by a significant, the most common place for commencement addresses falls under the faith-based category that includes all those follow your fill in the blank.
That's the same issue on that.
Follow your beliefs, follow your
All right.
passions, follow your roots, follow your true self, follow your instincts, follow your gut, everything but follow your parents' advice. I could not find that. But I'm not going to give you that speech, because I believe you already have followed your passions and your dreams and your true self. Because almost a person here today, you've left behind families, friends, a comfortable familiarity with your campuses or your homes to pursue your studies in a foreign setting. And you've taken a risk, I believe, and I hope I'm right, to pursue a vision of yourselves belonging to a larger world than the world you were in a few years ago. So I'd like to spend just a few minutes today reflecting on that vision you have for yourselves and on how I believe it's driven the history of IU and how it will impact the future of IU ACM. So I'll start with an observation that you share this vision for yourselves and your fellows with other ACM IU students going back now many generations to really the earliest days of this institution. I recently had the experience of attending a luncheon with the alumni of the Excel Colonel campus. We studied abroad here in the very earliest years. And we engaged in a little game that was like a spontaneous oral history. We passed a microphone to every attendee and asked that they provide us with a memory of their study abroad, going back almost 60 years. And I don't think a single person passed up the opportunity to share a memory. I was surprised to learn, for example, that most of the students back in those days came to France by boat. I was amazed by that. And a few of them who took a flight over, it turned out that it was the first time they had been on an airplane. And I suspect they had plenty of leg room because, of course, the path is a foreign country, as they say. But not all of these memories shared were dissimilar to what your memories and what you will hold dear about this experience in the years to come. They talked about an inspiring professor. They talked about a new lifelong interest that they attained during their year with X. They talked about finding their career path here. And they all talked about lifelong friendships that developed and were nurtured by the joie de vivre that is still a place here in X in French life. And one word that came up often in these remarks, it came up so often that a spontaneous sort of self-imposed moratorium took hold. The word was transformative. The initial speakers used it to sum up their time in X. The next tranche referred to it as the T word. And then the last tranche didn't even say that. They said, I'm not going to use the T word. But of course, it was clear from their comments that they found their year here transformative. So I believe, of course, that you share the T word experience with the early generations of IAU students and ACM students beginning back in 1958. And whether you came in the class of 1958 or 2024, you came, I believe, to pursue a vision of yourselves transformed through an encounter with the larger world. And whether you came in 1959 or 2024, your world is not entirely dissimilar. Too often, the 1950s in America is remembered as at least for privileged people, as a nostalgic suburban pastoral, largely the creation of television shows that sometimes we still see from those years. And I know that in 1957, the year IAU was founded, Elvis appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show singing Jailhouse Rock. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet was already in reruns, and you probably don't even know what I'm talking about when I say that. And Leave It to Beaver had just premiered. But the truth is that that world in 1957 was as complicated and sometimes as menacing a place as our world today. In 1957, Americans were dismayed to see a new front in the Cold War develop when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first orbiting space satellite, on October 4, 1957, a Sunday, if you can believe it. And the resulting technological catch-up effort by the United States, known as the space race, led to the creation of NASA, to the National Defense Education Act, too. And that's the act under Congress that provides for student loans, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. And in 1957, although Brown v. Board of Education had already been decided a few years prior, actually realizing and benefiting from desegregated education proved difficult. And in fact, it wasn't until 1957 that the so-called Little Rock Nine were able to attend Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas only after federal troop intervention. The post-war world and its international institutions remained in infancy in 1957. The International Atomic Agency was founded. The European Economic Community, the precursor to the European Union, was formed. And in fact, the first NATO summit took place in 1957 in Paris. Also in 1957, the so-called Battle of Algiers was, for a time, considered won by French forces who put down the FLN. But we know, too, that that long and painful reckoning of the West with its legacy of colonization was only beginning. So it was into this world, a world whose challenges were not completely unlike ours, and whose challenges continue to reverberate with shocking familiarity. It was into this world that IAU was founded. According to its New York State Charter, an effort of attorneys, it was founded to provide study opportunities for American students in a European setting. Sort of a bland statement, I think, and indeed, I think this formulation is a huge understatement. And it didn't capture the aspiration, or I'll call it uber mission, of this institution, which was to transform its students, and just maybe through its alumni, to change the world for the better, to foster a sense of global awareness and responsibility, to provide the tools necessary and needed to effect progress on the global stage, the mastery of foreign languages, the study of international relations and political science, history and diplomacy in the multicultural context of the Mediterranean. And in fact, few things are as clear to me as providing evidence for this institution's seriousness and purpose was just to look at the roster of board of trustees in the early years of IAU. It's a very humbling experience for the current trustees, certainly for me. It was in some regards a roster of post-war influencers. In arts and letters, Darius Milhaud was on the board. He's the famous composer whose name you saw perhaps as you entered this building.
He was in the diplomatic corps himself and spent time in Brazil and really transformed Western classical music by infusing it with rhythms of Brazil and American jazz. Darius Milhaud went on to a teaching career in the United States in Colorado and founded the
Is that Nicole's graduation?
Aspen Festival, where he was responsible for teaching generations of American.
Oh, was it a recording or something?
Yeah, it's
Germain Bray, the great French-American
Happening in
scholar of
France by
French literature, was on
5:30.
the board. She graduated from the University of Paris in the 1930s, taught at Brennenbach in Pennsylvania. When the war broke out, she left her position, joined the Free French Forces in Algeria, and got to know that.
Okay.
You should hear it upstairs, the man.
Patrick.
I can't hear him either.
She was an initial one of the early trustees. She eventually became the U.S. ambassador to the UN under the Reagan administration. And one member I'd like to just mention.
It just went up.
in-
He was
in a
speaking
little
so
more
quiet, you
detail.
couldn't hear
It's a
it.
man named Max.
Then they changed the volume or
He was a
something.
trustee from 1958 to 1985. He was born in New
All
York
right.
City in
I
1920
can't hear it.
to
It's a
Jewish
once in a lifetime thing.
immigrants from Albania. His father was a butcher.
Okay.
His mother sold hats. Hampelman graduated from New York University in 1940. Tough year to graduate. He enrolled in law school, but soon obtained
Oh my gosh.
conscientious objector status to avoid the draft. Once the U.S. entered World War II, Max was sent to the University of Arizona as a conscientious objector to undergo a starvation experiment to study the severe effects of weight loss. He lost 100 pounds, but somehow managed to continue his studies. He graduated with a law degree from New York University and later received master's and doctoral degrees in political science from the University of Minnesota. Being in Minnesota at that point, his career began working for Senator Hubert Humphrey, who was later vice president under Lyndon Johnson. He settled in Washington, D.C., eventually established a legal practice, and became so well known he was asked to lead the U.S. delegation to the Madrid Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe. The CSCE, as it was known, eventually became the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the world's largest regional security organization. By the time Max finished 27 years on the board of IAU, Ronald Reagan, president at the time, asked him to lead arms control talks with the Soviet Union. Max's negotiations ultimately led to the signing of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty in 1987 and the first Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty in 1991. During all this, by the way, he managed to be the chairman of WETA TV in Washington, D.C., and the first host of Washington Weekend Review. I don't know how he managed that. In 1990, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Bill Clinton. So why do I tell you about Max? In 3 short years, IAU ACM will celebrate its 70th year in Aix-en-Provence. And so, of course, it's time to start thinking about our history. And I know Max will be part of that history. And I also know that you will be part of that history and involved in writing that history. I believe that history will reflect an institution that contributes in a small way to the hope of a just, prosperous, and peaceful world through the achievements of you, our alumni, and the achievements of our founders. And to all of us who shared the vision to varying degrees, the vision to learn and work and contribute to a larger world. So I welcome you to the ranks of IAU ACM alumni. And I hope you take hope and courage and vision from the example of your predecessors, these trustees, and most of all, for the high ideals of this institution. Thanks very much.
passionné par la littérature. And that student is Savannah Poole. The Edwin Smirl Prize for History is given in memory of a historian. Is given in the memory of the historian, scholar, and distinguished professor of the Institute of American Universities from 1958 to 1965. You can find a plaque in commemoration of Professor Smirl in the main hall of the Centre d'Études Françaises. Professor Michel Lanterne will present the prize to Andrew Lentner, who was in 2 of his courses this semester. Professor Lanterne describes the quality of Andrew's engagement in class as equally brilliant and exemplary. Congratulations, Andrew. The Simone Weil Prize for Academic Excellence in European Studies is named after Simone Weil, who was instrumental in upholding and legislating for women's rights in France and Europe in general. Furthermore, she championed throughout her years as a public figure the importance of creating a stronger, more unified Europe. Another champion of the United Europe, Professor David Combs, created the prize. Professor Sarah McIntosh and Gregory Mose will present the prize to Owen Esper, whom they laud as being consistently prepared and always contributing to class in a quote, lovely and collegiate way. Congratulations, Owen. We are thankful to our new alumnus and former trustee, Professor Rodolfo Alvarez, Professor of Sociology from UCLA, for the creation of the prize in honor of Professor Leon Wincelius. There is much to say about Professor Wincelius, a philosopher who taught at the Institute for American Universities during the institution's first years. Probably most important is the lifelong effect this professor had on students, the proof of which we see in Professor Alvarez's desire to honor his legacy. Professor Eric Freeman will present the prize to Isabel Agustinini Brown, whom we characterize as, quote, among the very best of the students I have ever had the pleasure to teach. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's my honor now to present my colleague, Dean of the Centre d'Études Françaises, Dr. Muriel Coe.
Bonjour. Le prix William Marion Miller de langue française est attribué en référence à la générosité de ce grand professeur, ami de notre institution, qui a dirigé la chaire de français à l'université de Miami, à Oxford, à l'université d'Ohio. Ce prix récompense non seulement le niveau linguistique atteint à la fin du semestre, mais aussi l'engagement, la marge de progression, l'écoute et l'esprit d'ouverture des étudiants. La professeure Alias et la professeure César vont remettre ces prix. À Isabella Ham de l'Université de Denison pour les niveaux 100. À Hélène Rogers de SMU pour les niveaux 200. Et à Catherine Fraser de l'Université de Nebraska pour les niveaux 300. Le prix de traduction annulé est donné en hommage à notre ancienne doyenne, collègue et amie, qui fut aussi une très grande traductrice et qui a travaillé avec notre institution de 1983 à 2006. C'est Anaya Elbaz de l'Université de San Diego qui n'a pas pu être avec nous aujourd'hui, mais qui a obtenu ce prix. Donc, applaudissons-la aussi. Enfin, le prix d'excellence est donné pour célébrer l'excellence. Et nous avons choisi, comme souvent, collectivement, de récompenser les progrès extraordinaires réalisés par cette étudiante, quelqu'un qui aujourd'hui, à l'oral comme à l'écrit, a vraiment un niveau excellent. Nous voulons lui donner ce signe pour l'encourager à continuer dans ses études. Elle a écrit ce texte. D'autres après nous encore recevront dans cette pièce le même soleil du matin, se battront, apprendront sur les autres et eux-mêmes, consentiront à l'énigme et rentreront chez eux une personne entièrement méconnaissable. Le don de vie est illuminant. Je vais remettre le prix d'excellence pour son études françaises à Nicole Lyons de l'Université du Michigan, Pearl Harbor.
My name is Philip Reed, and I'm the interim dean of the Donna Dillon Manning School of Global Affairs. And I have to do this, Donna, please excuse me. Donna Manning is sitting on this stage. She's a member of the Board of Trustees. She was an early alum of IU and was chair of the board for years and has been an incredible supporter of the school for decades. So yesterday, in large part, due to her generosity, we inaugurated the new home of the School of Global Affairs at Villa 7. So I want to thank you, Donna, on behalf of everyone here for all you've done over the years for this institution and this school. I said interim, and actually I'll be leaving this post as Dean July will be returning in a couple of months. And so I just want to take this chance to say how honored and pleased I've been to work with these wonderful students here. And in particular, where are they? Where am I? There they are. I don't have my glasses on. I just wanted to give a shout out to this year's Masters of International Relations students. You're the best. Now, the world reminds us every day how important it is to keep humanity in your heart when you're studying international business and international relations. So that's what we strive to do at the School of Global Affairs. And our prize winners today exemplify this approach. So first up, we have the Jean and Evelyn Kirkpatrick Prize for Excellence in International Relations. Now, as you heard, this prize is named for two people who were early supporters and helped found this institution, and both were very active in U.S. foreign policy. Jean Kirkpatrick was the first woman named as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, back when I was a young sprout. The prize is being presented by Dr. Gregory Mose to ACM student Carolyn Timmerman. For her quote, consistently thorough analysis, hard work, and attention to language in her writing. Congratulations, Carolyn. Next, we have the Larry Horner Prize for Academic Excellence in Business Studies, named obviously after Larry Horner. Also a strong supporter of this institution and of international education in general. And as a businessman, he helped create the world you live in because he was instrumental in creating the international accounting standards that allow the global economy to work. The prize is presented by Professor Nitin Bihari to Ava Munir of Belmont University. For excellent work ethic and skill as a team leader and team player. Congratulations, Dave. And with that, I turn you over to Dr. Yumna Massaro, the Dean of the School of Art.
Bonjour everyone. I'm here to introduce the Marshoots and the Mediterranean Purchase Award. Each semester, the faculty chooses one student painting to be purchased by the school to join the collection that lives in Manning Hall and other ACM IEU buildings. The Marshoots Purchase Award is given to a student who shows consistent progress, joy, seriousness, light, curiosity, and openness in learning, and whose chosen painting complements the work already in the school's collection. Professor O'Neill Cushman presents the award. Please join me in congratulating Marie-Claire Erabi Rodriguez of St. Mary's College, winner of the Marshoots Purchase Award. The inaugural Mediterranean Purchase Award this semester is given to a student whose work keeps on pushing the contemporary art conversation forward. Professor William Ruler presents the award. Please join me in congratulating Glenn Parrott from the University of Colorado Boulder, whose work mixes text, photorealism, abstraction, and graffiti to discuss both the past and the future in her work and produces something truly new and authentic.
Bonsoir. All right, it's all the French stuff I can say. First, I want to say thank you to IAU for the speech nomination. I don't know how that happened really. And secondly, I want to say thank you to Dr. Gary Heisel for giving me the opportunity to speak here on behalf of the students of IAU, and to Dr. Yard for endorsing it. Y'all have no idea what you just agreed to. Now, my name is Andre Puff. I'm currently a sophomore at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, here with the rest of the Army of Belmont students that came along. There's around 16, 17 of us here this semester, so if we managed to go the whole semester without running into one of us, I commend you really. We were kind of everywhere. Now, much like many of y'all, I was given the opportunity to study abroad for a semester here at IAU and experience firsthand day-to-day life in the south of France. And if there's one word I can use to describe how that experience was, I'd use the word process. Upon first landing in France, I thought that living here, talking with the locals, and fully assimilating into the French lifestyle was going to be a breeze. I had taken French classes prior to the spring, so I was kind of riding out that wave of ego, first mistake. I thought that being able to speak with the community here was going to make settling in so much easier. So once I had arrived the next, I walked into the first cafe I saw and confidently asked for a latte in French, only for the barista to respond back to me, "Do you want sugar opposite?" And that started what I like to call the reality check period of the semester. A couple of weeks where I started to realize that, maybe I don't know what I'm doing or wasn't prepared to deal with the semester. But as I mentioned before, it was a process. While everything may have been hard to stomach at that moment, it gave clear insight on how to deal with certain issues and how to handle them in the future. And it was really comforting to hear that I wasn't the only person dealing with all this. One thing I've been extremely grateful for while attending IAU was the amount of new people I was able to meet. The fact that other Americans like me were also finding it difficult to get used to a new environment was a wave of relief and really helped me make connections with not just students here from all across the US, but even with people from my home university that I had rarely ever spoken to or took the time to know. So being glad is an understatement for how I feel as I've met so many of you amazing people. Going to restaurants and cafes alongside y'all was something I would look forward to every day, so really thank you. Meeting so many new people only helped to elevate other experiences even more, especially when it came to traveling almost every weekend. As much as my bank account might have hated it, having the ability to leave for a weekend and going on a train, plane, or bus, going somewhere that I thought I'd never be able to go was truly an eye-opening experience, to say the least. And being here at IAU definitely helped me to seize that opportunity. I'm grateful that IAU not only encouraged us to explore as much of Europe as we could, but also funded excursions for us to travel somewhere new for free. For example, I was given the opportunity by the School of Global Affairs to travel to Brussels alongside so many other students and visit major global organizations like NATO and the European Union, places I had never thought in my life I would step foot in. And while we were on that trip, the professors encouraged us to learn as much as we could about the world and to have fun while doing it. And free beer does help with both of those things, so thank you for that, IAU. But as the semester comes to an end, and so was my speech. I just want to first say one more time, thank you to IAU for everything, all the professors, all the alumni fellows, the staff, y'all helped make this semester so memorable and life-changing, and I can't express in one speech how amazing it was to be given this opportunity. To the students graduating tonight, while I am far from where y'all are currently at, I wish you all the absolute best of luck in all your future endeavors, and that you should walk out these doors knowing that so many people are proud of you and all your hard work. Alongside that, I also want to encourage everyone here, students and professors, to continue being the amazing people you were this semester. Without y'all, this spring would have been so devoid of character and brushed off as just another college semester, but being here, exploring X and beyond alongside so many of you all, it's truly a blessing. And as you all leave tonight, packing the rest of your bags and weighing them to make sure they're not over 50 pounds, I hope each and every one of you go back home with fond memories and experiences from this semester. Share stories of where you've been with your family, your friends, and use what you've learned here to continue along the path you're on. Know that much like the semester, life ahead is a process. And even if you don't know what's at the end, it's fine to just focus on where you're at, right? I'll let y'all process that one. God bless y'all, have a good summer.
You're only going to hear 3 4-letter words in a row, free and beer. Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Gibran. Mr. Chairman, dear colleagues, dear students, and our dear friends and family of the ACM community. We'll now begin the part of the process, the part of the ceremony in which we confer degrees, recognizing the achievements of the spring 2024 graduating class. If you take a look at your programs, you will note that we will be graduating bachelor students, masters in art history, in French studies, in international education, masters in international relations, and masters in the fine arts. We'll begin with our bachelor's graduates. So if I could have our bachelor's graduates come up and stand here on stage left, please. And we can give them a hand because. Though you may not notice it in the, just stay down, don't come up the steps yet. Thank you. They're in a hurry to get out of here. Okay. Though you may not notice it in the program, we are proud to say that this is our biggest graduating BA class to date, and we congratulate them for this huge, massive achievement. The first graduate on our list, Mr. Benjamin Lane Berman. Benjamin, could you come up and be honored? Benjamin's journey began with his first semester at IEU. He knew ACM was his destined path. Not merely a diligent scholar, Benjamin is an enthusiast for novel learning adventures, excelling notably in French and in Arabic. His fervor for museum studies is not just academic pursuit, it's the harmonious blend of his passion for history, art, language, and culture. His delve into the Mediterranean's tapestry mirrors the dedication he pledged from the start. Benjamin's affable, and gracious nature endears him to all, creating friendships with ease. Congratulations, Benjamin. Mr. Apollo Dean Morrison. One of the most active and present members of the ACM family, Apollo has been a vibrant contributor to the ACM cohort, whether with the degree students or with the semester abroad students. His commitment to the vision of ACM has been contagious, and everyone around him has felt it. As a student, Apollo has shown the curiosity, the depth that any educator seeks in their student body. Well done, Apollo, and thanks for everything you have offered to this institution and to your classmates. Mr. Connor Powers Rutledge. With a rich background in music and a passion for the humanities, Connor has shown a deep intellectual curiosity and quiet leadership at American College of the Mediterranean. Known for his genuine warmth, he easily connects with peers and embraces diverse cultures. As he graduates, we celebrate his sensitive, caring nature and look forward to his positive impact on the world. Ms. Alejandra K. Starr. Alejandra was a Marchute student in 1986 and she returned in 2021. Her paintings reveal the depth of her rediscovery. To Alejandra, painting is not the byproduct of having seen, it is the act of seeing. Each painting constitutes a study of the world before her and reveals the harmony and order that she discovers in it. She concerns herself almost single-mindedly on the underlying structure of the landscape. Congratulations, Alejandra. Ms. Ariana Elizabeth Stearns, come forward. Ariana made her own path to this day. She overcame many challenges in coming to ACM and designed her own major focused on conflict resolution. Her drive and keen analytic mind impressed all who worked with her. Today, she gives thanks for her grandparents and wishes they could have been here to share in her success. Ariana intends to return to ACM this fall to pursue a Master's of International Relations, and we could not be more delighted. Ms. Adela Marie Stevens. Adela is our pioneer, our pathfinder, one of the intrepid few beginning with us in fall 2020. As our first full 4-year bachelor graduate, she was a deeply engaged student, helping ACM build the program while delighting her professors with her curiosity and seriousness. Always questioning, always smiling, ACM is a better school thanks to Adela. Her major in international relations allowed Adela to explore the issues she will no doubt pursue as a global citizen. We can't wait to hear about her future exploits. Mr. Nathan James Sullivan. In 3 years, if we count this year as an IAU student, Nathan has made huge progress in French. After some hesitation, he opted for a major in French studies. Nathan, we have all seen you grow in knowledge. In your capstone thesis, you demonstrated promising skills in translation and language analysis. More broadly, your active participation in our classes, your progress in expressing critical thought, and your investment in your capstone thesis have all contributed to your success. Congratulations. Yes, could we have all the BAs come up together, please? Hold on a sec. Just a second. To symbolize the completion of this academic journey, we ask that you move the tassel at the top of your graduation's caps from the right to the left, or the left to the right. We move now to our master's graduates. You'll note that these master's graduates will be hooded by the deans of their departments. The hooding ceremony recognizes the honor and achievements of these ACM students completing their advanced degrees. We will call them individually here to the front, where their hoods are placed over their shoulders by their dean, their mentor. This symbolic act signifies the transition from student to scholar and celebrates their academic accomplishment. For the first masters, we'd like to call up the masters in art history and fine arts and painting, please. Come on up and stand by the please. For the Master of Arts in Art History, Ms. Nicole Rigby, can you come forward? Nicole is adored in the IAU community for her vibrant spirit and outstanding sense of humor. Her approach to art history using fashion as a lens enables her to critically examine cultural representations across different eras. Nicole is particularly known for her fashion girl game, a clever and engaging activity that not only entertains but also encourages her peers to express themselves in a fun and creative way. It's her kindness, humor, and empathy, however, that truly draws people to her. Nicole creates a positive environment for both her peers and professors, enriching every interaction with warmth and laughter. Now for the Master of Fine Arts in Painting, we'll call up first Mr. Aiden Henry Barton. Aiden is simply never not working. Whether drawing or painting, photographing, or just observing, his mind runs on the operating system of artistic creation. His work from the visible pursues the subtle changes of light, color, and atmosphere that animate our experience. His work from his imagination builds on that practice, giving visual form to the invisible. During his MFA program, Aiden plunged himself into everything that this place has to offer and focused his love of drawing and painting into something more. He has always continually drawn and painted, but what he has opened up for himself here is a depth of experience that transforms his continual occupation into a continual practice. Congratulations. Ms. Janessa Rosenberger. Janessa's work is a perfect melding of writings of Lewis Carroll and visual language of Helen Frankenthaler. From powerful swaths of color to delicate indications of fauna, her work revels in the innocence of the natural world, her connection to the energy of the natural world stemming from her training as a yoga instructor. Janessa's work gives the viewer a chance to look beyond the surface of our world to view grass, flowers, weeds, all at eye level, creating a universe that lays just under our feet. Congratulations, Janessa. We'd like to call to the stage left anyway, Master of Arts in French Studies. I'm going to read a little bit in French here. Our first graduate is not here with us today, but wanted to read a few words about her. Miss Elizabeth Hudson. We can applaud her even though she's not here. Elizabeth Hudson a fait un travail intitulé La contre-histoire des Mariannes Noires. Partant d'une statue monumentale de 1848 appelée la Marianne Noire, qui associe la représentation de la France universelle avec l'image d'une femme subsaharienne, Elizabeth a montré comment cette statue oubliée résonne avec l'époque actuelle, qui est jalonnée d'autres figures de Marianne Noire telles Aminata Sonko ou Fatou Douam. Mademoiselle Mackenzie Tehan. Mackenzie a fait une recherche sur l'utilisation didactique de la publicité en magazine dans les classes de français. Elle a une double approche sur les représentations de genre, particulièrement du féminin, en France et aux États-Unis, et aussi sur les multiples possibilités linguistiques et créatives qu'offre ce support authentique. Mackenzie enseignait déjà à des adolescents au Texas avant de choisir de venir travailler avec nous. Je crois que nous pouvons affirmer que ce fut un choix très courageux et très profitable. Toute l'équipe se réjouit de l'avoir guidée. Elle a illuminé notre année de 1000 couleurs. Mademoiselle Annika Nina White. Annika effectue une recherche au croisement de deux de ses passions, l'écriture poétique et la traduction. Elle s'intéresse particulièrement à la notion de suspension et à ses variations lorsque l'on passe d'une langue à l'autre. Elle s'est inspirée de la jeune écrivaine française Cécile Coulon et a analysé ses propres problématiques de traduction dans le passage de l'anglais au français et du français à l'anglais. Son sérieux, son exigence et son engagement nous ont réjouis tout au long de cette année. Félicitations, Annika. We now recognizing the Masters of Arts in International Education Administration. Could our students come to stage left, please? Ms. Allison Eady. Allison is a driven student with a passion for creating high-impact international experiences for students. She approaches learning with curiosity and precision, giving her a well-rounded perspective essential for succeeding in the dynamic field of international education. She has demonstrated a commitment to global education in her courses, in interactions with faculty and staff, and in the design of her final capstone project. Allison will showcase her leadership during her summer practicum in Aix, where she will help facilitate study abroad programming for 300 students. Her innovative insights will undoubtedly contribute to a successful career in study abroad. Congratulations, Allison. We celebrate your current and future achievements. Ms. Tori Ann Kozlowski. Tori excelled throughout the MAIE program, spending the last year immersing herself in transformative coursework in Spain, Morocco, and France, which has equipped her with essential skills to successfully navigate the evolving field of international education. After graduation, she returns to Barcelona for her practicum, where she'll work alongside staff and faculty to support cross-cultural academic experiences of more than 400 students. Tori is thoughtful, creative, and compassionate, all requisite characteristics for impactful leaders in international higher education. We celebrate Tori's achievements and have no doubt she'll reach her goal of becoming a study abroad director at a U.S. university. Now to our students for the Master of Arts in International Relations. Could you come forward to stage left, please? Our first student we'll be hooding is Ms. Abigail Marie Campbell. Could you come forward, please? Abigail. Abigail is a humanist in every sense of the term. Her support for her fellow students and her focus on the study of migration and mental health for displaced populations show that she brings her heart to the study of international politics. This summer, she will be working as a research assistant for Sylvia Danielac, a recent ACM resident fellow among us, a resident fellow from Georgetown University. She'll be working on projects relating to infrastructure and service delivery in international peacekeeping and humanitarian efforts. Good luck to you, Abigail. Ms. Eleanor Lee Hatton. Eleanor came to ACM with the belief that power, wielded wisely, can make the world a better place. Fortified by her studies at ACM, she aims to be someone who does just that. Her highly developed work ethic, keen sense of humor, and determination to keep her promises will serve her well in years to come. Eleanor will be interning this summer with the NGO Girl Security, devoted to increasing access to national security careers for women and underrepresented minorities. Eleanor will lead the way. She plans to join the Air Force and pursue a career in counterterrorism. She is grateful for all the support from her parents while pursuing her degree and happy her sisters can be here today. Ms. Tatiana Grace North. Tatiana has the honor of being our first UK citizen MAIR graduate. Although surrounded by Yanks, Tatiana found a place for herself, using her literary background in humanity to probe the realities of power in international politics. Taking nothing for granted, she applied her considerable and subtle analytical skills diligently to everything she undertook, and the results speak for themselves. She will be returning to her home in the United Kingdom this summer for an internship in London's vibrant media markets. Congratulations. Ms. Madison Berea Sahudin, could you come forward, please? During her time at HCM, Madison used her vivid writing style and moral compass to explore the inequalities and injustices in the world, particularly on the issue of animal rights. Although new to the subject of international relations, she quickly showed her abilities to pursue original and rigorous paths of inquiry. She will bring all these qualities to bear this summer as a research assistant for Professor Lindsay Reed of Gettysburg College, looking at how power-sharing settlements in the aftermath of civil wars affect women's rights and opportunities. Good luck to you. Mr. Dylan Christopher Schick, could you come forward? Dylan is set on public service, having already worked as intern in Washington, D.C. This summer, he will intern with the Commerce Department in the U.S. mission to the European Union in Brussels. Intellectually curious, compassionate, and deeply respectful of others, he combines modesty and ambition in a way that we could all learn from. His goal is to join the Foreign Service, and his dedication and work ethic with ACM gives us every confidence he's assumed representing the United States abroad. And we're happy to say he's here with his father to hand him his degree. Ms. Caroline Elizabeth Timmerman. Caroline is an IAU alumna who we are delighted returned for a master's degree. Caroline loves words. Coming from a social science background, she skillfully combined an insistence on the power of language with the analytical demands of international politics, making her a keen and insightful thinker. She did this with humor and a delight in the whimsy. Continuing in this vein, she will intern this summer with the art and environmental NGO Human Impacts Institute, using creativity and storytelling to promote positive climate action through their Green Map project in Marseille during this summer's Olympic Games. She would like to thank her parents, Kirsten and Jim, for their continued love and support. We'd like to invite, for the closing remarks, representing the graduates of the American College of the Mediterranean, Ms. Annika Nina White.
A little bit of a hike to get up here. Bonjour tout le monde. As Dr. Smith said, I'm Annika White, and I'm a Master of Arts in French Studies student. I've been asked to stand up in front of you all and share a little bit about my experience as an ACM student in the hopes that it will be representative of all of your experiences as well. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I can actually do that. I'm one person, and my past year of living in X is not the same as all of yours. But I do wonder if most of you won't be able to relate to a particular feeling I've been having the last couple weeks: disappointment. Today is an exciting day. Today is a joyful day. It's a day for us to celebrate our achievements from the past semester, year, or 2 years, depending on how long we've all been here. And yet, in the midst of all these happy feelings, and I think many of you, might be feeling just a little bit of disappointment. Maybe you're disappointed to be leaving southern France in just a few days. Maybe you're disappointed to be staying in France for a few months or years after most of your friends have left. Maybe you feel like you didn't get the most of your time here, or the most out of your program here, or that you didn't spend as much time as you wanted with the people you met here. Maybe a little bit of all of these. And that's normal. No matter how good it's been, or how many wonderful memories you've made, there will always be something a little disappointing in any season of our lives. So what do we do with that disappointment? First of all, I think it's important to acknowledge to ourselves that disappointment is a part of life. Disappointment comes when things don't go the way we wanted or expected them to. And this happens more often than not. But just because something doesn't go the way we wanted it to, that doesn't mean that beautiful things can't come of it. When our expectations are let down, it is hard to readjust. But sometimes this creates space for new and different things to happen in our lives, things we couldn't have anticipated otherwise. It's these unexpected realities that bring flavor and complexity to our lives. For me, my time at ACM has been full of the unexpected. And despite the disappointment I feel about parts of it, I don't want to lose sight of all the unforeseen goodness that has characterized this past year for me. And this is the second thing I want to do with my disappointment. I don't want to let whatever disappointment I may be feeling become the only thing I remember from my time here. And I hope all of you can do the same. The saddest thing, I think, would be to let unfulfilled expectations, however large or small they may be, color the entirety of this experience. For my part, one of my unfulfilled expectations for this year was that the friendships I made would be transitory, that they wouldn't last beyond our time in X. But this isn't what happened. I've experienced community here in a way that I could never have foreseen. From dinner parties, both planned and spontaneous, to picnics, and trying to turn every IAU function into a karaoke night. I spent these moments with people who mean more to me than I ever expected. And I know my connections with them will last beyond this year. Because of these memories and these friends, I don't want my time here to end. But I don't want to let that disappointment overshadow the memories. I can't control or predict what all of you will do with your disappointment now or in the future. All I can offer you is what I've learned in here. That there are things bigger than my disappointed expectations. Things like friendship, warmth, kindness, and acceptance. These are the things I choose to think about when I think about my time here. And I hope from the very bottom of my heart that you all will be able to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Graduates, undergraduates, and study abroad students. Thank you, parents. Thank you, friends. Thank you to our board members and faculty and staff for joining us for our 67th ceremony de clôture, and our 7th graduation ceremony. This concludes the ceremonies. We have a lovely reception prepared for you in Place de l'Université, right in front of the cathedral. We will process out as we came in order. I will ask the Board of Trustees and all members on the stage to please stand, and we will all walk out together, followed by the rest of the audience, all the way back to the cathedral, where we will have a reception for you just across at our new cafe, the Cafe Med, where we have dinner and drinks ready for everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us.